Michigan has adopted the Common Core state standards. These are a set of content standards and mathematical practices for kindergarten through 12th grade. These standards are asking much more of our students. They will be learning more mathematics with a deeper understanding. In order to meet these standards and mathematical practices, in Ionia we have adopted new curriculum materials and instructional materials. At the elementary level, we are using the Math Expressions series. In the middle school, we are using the Connected Mathematics series. And at high school, College Preparatory Mathematics at 9th and 10th grade. In all of these materials, the students are asked to write about what they're doing in mathematics, justify how they're finding their solutions, as well as doing mathematical calculations. Some of the work you're seeing from your students will look similar to what you've done in the past as a student yourself, and some of it will look much different because kids will be asked to write. In the classroom, the students are writing, they're solving math problems, they're talking in groups, in partners, and working individually. It's a new era of mathematics, and Ionia is ready to meet the challenge.
With the new Common Core state standards for mathematics, we also have new assessments that are going to be available and expected to be used by all states. With these new assessment standards, we're asking about different mathematics than what we have done before. We're asking kids to not only show us that they can use a rule of procedure, but that they can problem solve and apply the mathematics to different situations. When the test that we currently have, which involves basically our kids doing multiple choice, moves to a test in which 80% of the questions are open-ended responses, it means that teachers are going to have to teach differently, and kids are going to be expected to show us different mathematics than what they have before. It's a much more in-depth, involved type of test that calls for much more in-depth, involved mathematics.
Here are the 8 mathematical practices established by the Common Core. The first one is we want our students to make sense of problems and to persevere in solving them. So we don't want our students to give up. We want them to keep working through the problem, and we want to make sure that they look back at the problem and make sure their answers make sense. The second one is we want our students to reason abstractly and quantitatively. So we want our students to look at the relationships between problems, and we want them to represent unknowns with a symbol and be able to apply that to real life.
Mathematical practice number 3 is for students to construct viable arguments and critique the reasoning of others. Mathematical discourse is at the core of this mathematical practice. In the elementary grades, students will use manipulatives to try and explain their reasoning, and problems like this one, which is closer to 1, 4/5 or 5/4, will be typical. However, we'll take it a step deeper and ask them to explain their reasoning, and that's the part that gets at the core of this practice. In the middle school, students may be presented with multiple ways to solve a single problem, and then they're going to look at them and decide which one makes most sense in that context. And at the high school, we'll ask students to generalize and formalize these into a mathematical proof. Mathematical practice number 4 is modeling with mathematics. In the elementary grades, it may be as simple as an equation involving addition or subtraction. When they get to middle school, they'll be using tools like tables and graphs, flowcharts, and they'll use those to model with mathematics. And the idea here is that students will make sense of the world around them using math. So they're looking at problems through a mathematical lens and using math to make sense of things and try and figure out how they work.
Number 5 is use appropriate tools strategically. We want students to consider all available tools and strategies when solving problems. We want to implement technology to help students visualize and explore mathematics. Number 6 is attend to precision. We want students to try to communicate precisely to others and use clear definitions when discussing mathematics. We want students to calculate accurately and efficiently.
The 7th mathematical practice is look for and make use of structure. What this means for students is students will look for patterns and ways to break a complex problem down into a series of simpler problems. The eighth mathematical practice is look for and express regularity in repeated reasoning. What this means for student work is students will notice when a problem has a repeated calculation and will use common sense to make sure that their answer is reasonable.
Solve using any method you choose. Geo has brown shoes, black shoes, and white shoes. He has white socks, black socks, gray socks, brown socks, blue socks. How many different shoes and socks combinations can he make? Well, I put 15 because there are 3 of the different colored shoes and 5 different colored socks. I believe if you do 3 times 5, it equals 15.
Any other thoughts? Anybody do anything differently or would like to show it in a different way? Go ahead, Kirsten. Why don't you bring it right up? Good job, Gio. Let me just see if some people did it a different way. Because there's probably different things we could do.
Here. I told her about how we did tables. So we labeled them with socks and brown with white, brown with black, brown with gray, brown with brown.
And you probably don't need to go through all of them. We can see what you did, okay, because it takes a long time. Just explain what else you did.
I did what Michaela did. I did 4 times 3 equals 12.
The administrators at Ione Public Schools are strongly encouraged by the connected math that our staff is continuing to work with our students. We believe strongly that it will help our standardized test scores, in which our schools are so strictly measured, and also that it will help our students gain the Common Core standards that is essential for their success. We are appreciative of the risk-taking that our staff is willing to take as they embark on this challenge, and also the risk the students will have to take as they learn in this new and different way. Our staff has undergone significant professional development and will continue to do so as they work together to make sure that they are helping our students the best possible. Ultimately, we feel like this type of mathematics learning will help our students as they move out into the real world and can connect things with problems that they will be facing in society. Keep up the good work.
Math in action, math in action.